Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we created the API to add product in the cart. And in today's video, we will call this API from our Angular application. And we will create another API in our Spring Boot application to get the user's cart. So let's get started. So to call the API, let's go to the customer service, and here we can copy this method and let's replace the method name to add to cart. And in the params we should accept product ID, and after this let's create a constant for the request body and let's name this as cart DTO. And here first of all we need to pass the product ID which we can get from our param, and after this we need to pass user ID which we can get from our user storage service dot get user ID method. After this we need to update this get method to post, and the endpoint for this API is slash customer slash cart. And let's remove this from here, and now let's pass the cart DTO here. Now let's save this file, and as you can see on the click of add to cart button we are already calling one method add to cart, and we need to call this API in this method. Now let's write this dot customer service, and here we need to call add to cart method, and in the params we will pass the ID and then we will subscribe our response, and after that we will write the arrow function, and here we need to show a message to the user, so we can use the snack bar and we will show product added to cart successfully. Now let's save this file and go to the browser. Here on the login page we need to write the email of the user which is cs@gmail.com, and then we will write the password and we will click on the login. And after the login we can click on this add to cart button to add this item in our cart. And as you can see we got the message product added to cart successfully. And as you can see in the MySQL workbench the amount of the order got updated, and in this cart underscore items we have a new record, and we can see the user ID and we can see the other details as well. Now let's go to our workbench and let's create the API to get the cart details by user. Here in our backend application we need to create the DTO for this cart items entity, so we will right click on this DTO package and we will create a new Java class and we will name this class as cart items DTO, and let's annotate this class with the data annotation. And now let's go back to the cart items and we need to copy these fields and let's paste these fields here, and after ID, price and quantity we need to mention the product ID, and after the product ID we need to mention the order ID, and after order ID we need to mention the product name, and let's update this long to string, and after the name of the product we need to return the image for the product, and for this we can write byte array and then return image, and after the image we need to return the user ID, and with that our cart items DTO is completed. And after this cart items DTO we need to create the DTO for our order, so let's create another class and let's name this as order DTO, and let's annotate with @data annotation. And now let's go to the order entity and we need to copy all these fields and let's go to the order DTO and let's paste them here. And after this, let's remove this annotation, and we need to replace this cart items with cart items DTO. And after this, we need to remove these annotations, and instead of the whole user, we need to return the username, and we will use this property to show the orders to the admin. And let's change the data type to string, and our order DTO is completed for now. Now let's go to the cart service implementation, and here we can start writing our method, and our method will be a public method, and this will return order DTO. And let's name this method as get cart by user ID, and in the params we should accept the user ID. And here in this method we need to get the current active order, so we can go to this add product to cart item method, and we can copy this line and we can paste it here. And here we need to update this to user ID from the params. After this, we need to create the order DTO, and let's name this as order DTO. And here we can start putting the details in our order DTO, and we will start with set amount, and we will use active order dot get amount. After this, let's duplicate this, and we need to update this to set ID, and we need to update the getter to set ID as well. After this, let's duplicate this again, and this time we need to set the status, and we can get this status from our active order. And then again we will duplicate this, and this time we will set the order discount, and let's duplicate the line one last time, and this time we need to set the total amount of the order. And at the end we will write the return statement, and we will return our order DTO. And after this we need to set the items in our order DTO, and before that we need to create a method to convert our cart items into the cart items DTO. So let's go to the cart items entity, and here we need to write one method, and it will return cart items DTO, and let's name this method as get cart DTO. Now let's import this cart items DTO here, and in the body of this method we will create the object for cart items, and we need to set the ID, and after ID we will set the price, and after the price we need to set the product ID, which we can get from product dot get ID. And after the product ID we need to set the quantity, and after quantity we need to set the user ID, and after user ID we need to set the product name, and we can get this product name from product dot get name. And after this, let's duplicate this line, and we need to set the image, and we can get this image from product dot get image. And at the end we will return our cart items DTO. Now let's go to our cart service implementation, and here we need to create a variable of cart items DTO, and let's name this as cart item DTO list, and let's import this class. And here we will use our active order dot get cart items method, and then we will apply the stream, and after stream we will use dot map method, and in this method we will use our get cart DTO method which we just created, and then we will convert this to a list. And at the end let's call order DTO dot set cart items, and we will pass our cart items list DTO here. Now let's copy this and let's go to the cart service, and we need to mention this here. And after this, let's go to the cart controller, and here we can copy our existing method, and we need to update the post mapping, and we will use the get mapping here, and the path should be cart slash, and here we will use a path variable and we will name this as user ID, and we need to update this to @path variable annotation, and we need to mention long user ID. After this, we will create one order DTO here, and we will call our cart service dot get cart by user ID, and we will pass the user ID in the params. And in the return statement, let's update this, and we will return response entity dot status, and in the status let's pass HTTP status, and we will return OK. And after this, let's call the body method, and in the body we will pass this order DTO. And after this, let's update the method name to get cart by user ID, and let's run our application. And as you can see, our application is up on port 8080 without any errors. And that's it for this video. In the next video, we will call this API, and we will create a page in our Angular application to show the cart details to the user.